Greetings and salutations, YouTube. This is Fragments of Memory, your friendly neighborhood armchair philosopher. I know it's been a while since I've been on YouTube, but as the young people say, life be lifing, and I'll leave it at that. Today's topic, man versus bear. A group of women were asked if they were in the woods, would they rather encounter a strange man or a bear? And the majority of women that were polled in that feet on the street interview chose the bear. Upon hearing this, many men took to the internet voicing their displeasure at women, saying that they would rather encounter the bear than the man. And there have been many videos and talking points that have been lodged complaining about women expressing their comfort with a carnivorous animal versus another human being. The way I see it, men personalized this statement, and they shouldn't have. Women were speaking to their experiences when it comes to their encounters with men, and many men took this a little personally. And I get the reason why. As an 80s baby, I was born in 1980, 90s teenager, I remember episodes of Ricky Lake, Phil Donahue, and Oprah Winfrey, and how it appeared that those shows showed men, especially black men, in a terrible light. Growing up, I heard such phrases as men are pigs, guys are scum, pardon my French, niggas ain't shit, I can do bad all by myself, the boys only want one thing, boys think with the little head and not the big one. I saw various date rape and sexual harassment episodes via sitcoms, Blossom, A Different World, Golden Girls, etc. And I did this all during my childhood and middle school years. Initially, I was offended by the man versus bear commentary. But on the flip side, girls were being propositioned as soon as they developed into puberty. As soon as they got into their puberty, or they started puberty, you had boys their own age, boys that were older, and even grown men propositioning these young ladies for, let's say, amorous intent. There's been men have catcalled women. There's been street harassment. You have even dealt with that thing with domestic violence, rape, or grape. I know that that word is sort of offensive in the YouTube algorithm, but I'm only speaking on it to say that these are the things that women face. Being touched inappropriately or pressured to have sex. And then on the flip side, they have the culture at large calls that young lady, she's too fast. You know, she's a fast girl, right? And I heard that statement as well. So there was a voice in my head that kind of said, don't personalize it. This is bigger than you. And I want to bring that point to the fellas that might watch this. Do not personalize what that woman is going through. This is a group of people telling their story. And I myself am an advocate of people telling their side of the story. Because I have felt in my own life and sometimes that people don't get to tell their side. For me to turn a deaf ear or respond with not all men negates that woman's lived experience. So I can go back and be told, I can go back and remember in my life, my sister would always ask me to walk her, if she was going to somewhere, I'd be sitting down watching TV, minding my business. And this is when we were growing up. My sister would always be like, can you walk me to the bus stop? Can you walk me over here? And I'm like, why I gotta do this? You the one that want to go and do X, Y, Z. Why I got to be involved in it? Not thinking she's a girl and all that it implies. Because I grew up in that era where we were telling girls, you can do anything the boys can do. You are strong women. You are independent women. And this is not a stab at it. It's just saying, these are the messages I heard. As the young ladies were being told it, they were being told it in front of us boys. So we're hearing that women are strong and independent and intelligent, and in some cases, superior to men in many ways. So for me, I'm thinking, okay, she be all right. But forgetting that the reality of the situation is that she was a young girl. My wife, when she would get off from work, we lived in this apartment complex with a parking garage. Well, she would park the car and then ask me to, she would call me on the cell phone and be like, "Hey, baby, can you come down? Can you come out of the apartment and walk me away from, the car garage? Can you wait for me? Can you come walk with me? Because we're living in an urban area, and oh yeah, by the way, she is a woman, a spitfire of a woman, but a woman nevertheless. So there's that." I remember many years ago, I dated a woman who kept referring to me as being safe, and I never understood that. I thought she was saying I was boring. What do you mean safe? I'm not out to do anything to you. And the reality is, many women probably have certain thoughts that me as a man never have to think about. Now, don't get me wrong. I have my criticisms of certain things that women do and how they operate and how they maneuver in this world. But I'm not completely callous or heartless, because I do recognize that, yes, there are realities that women face that I as a man don't regularly face. I remember in high school, we would be in these plays and productions. I remember this one young lady, every time she signed my program, because we would sign each other's play programs, and she always would say, "You're such a gentleman. You're such a gentleman." And I would always be wondering, why is she calling me a gentleman? And I realized she was probably spoken to in a manner in which was not acceptable. And maybe men were treating her the boys in my school were probably treating her in a way that wasn't very gentlemanly. And I wasn't thinking about that back then. All I was thinking about was, okay, I guess that's cool and all. I was flattered and all, but I didn't understand the real implication of that. There is this assumption among men that because I don't engage in such and such a behavior, that other men don't. And it is a very erroneous assumption. Many men, when they heard that a woman rather would deal with the bear, could only hear men bad, men evil, men wrong. Evil, bad, wrong. But we as men have to push past this. Because I've witnessed personally where a man is trying to shoot his shot at a lady and she's minding her own business, and he sort of tells her, she's trying to subtly let him know, "Leave me alone, leave me alone." He keeps trying to press up on her. I've seen men curse at a woman who ignored him, and he said, "Well, F you, bitch," and blah, 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 And the reality is she doesn't know that man and doesn't really owe him anything. I've seen a man, when he tried to get a young woman's attention, threaten violence. Threaten violence. And some women have told me stories of how there have been men that they rejected and the man tried to physically get into it with them. So, or they'll say, "You're not all that cute anyway." And now, the times when I didn't witness the violence, but I witnessed guys cursing at the women who reject them, like, "That's why you ain't this, that, or the third." And it wasn't my place to step in, but it just made me wonder, like, why did that man feel so entitled to that woman's attention or affection? Yeah, don't get me wrong, there are situations in which women can be rude, but at the same time, if a woman that you don't know and who's a stranger, she's not someone you know or someone that you're involved with or someone that's a friend of yours or an acquaintance of yours, why would you be upset about it? I guess that's another question I have to ask to my fellas that might watch this. Why do we get upset, or collectively now, why do we get upset when we think a woman has given us the brush off? Why do we get upset to the point where we want to do her bodily harm? Why do we, as men, when the woman says, "Hey, I don't feel so safe around certain men," or you as a man, why do we then delight in her being mauled by a bear? And then it makes me go, has our pride been so bruised and wounded that we're now lashing out? But neither here nor there. It's just something to give a thought to. This isn't a criticism of men. This is just a why the reaction and why are we so pressed about it? And maybe I ask this to myself first, and then I ask it to whoever might watch this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, one way or the other. Well, hey, have a good day. Be easy like Sunday morning. Take care.